hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Debbie Javier. So, I have received a lot of requests for topics to be discussed in my channel. Thank you so much for everyone who've been requesting for topics, but I cannot really make the video all at the same time. So, let's try to grant the requests one by one. So, a special request coming from a former student of mine, Mr. Ma, Jun Ma. So, he requested me to make a video about basic sentence patterns. So, other teachers are requesting lessons in general. So, please, if there are specific lessons that you want me to do a video with, just comment down below for specific topics, or you can send me a private message for me to know what the topics exactly that you want me to work on. Okay, just like what Mr. Ma did. So, in this video, I will be discussing the basic sentence patterns. So, let's start first with what do you mean by basic sentence patterns? So, when you say sentence pattern or verb pattern means the different grammatical constructions in a clause that are possible with different kinds of verbs. So, this is a little bit complicated topic, but remember, in my video, I always make it short. That's why my presentation is always shorter, but I hope that I can still make it really very clear for everyone to understand, because my target viewers are teachers, parents, and of course, students. So I hope I can help you with these videos. So let's first try to define some terms. So definition of keywords. Before we proceed with the patterns, let's make all our students be able to understand the terms that they will encounter in this lesson. So this is very important, teachers. You have to be able to define first the terms that they will be using in this lesson. So let's refresh ourselves with these terms. Subject. So what is a subject? So the doer of the action or the one being talked about. Next, we have the verb. So a verb is a word used to describe an action, a state, or an occurrence. And then an adverb. We will also encounter adverb in this lesson. An adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Very simple. An adjective modifies a noun or a pronoun. And then we will also encounter the word direct object. So a direct object is a word or phrase denoting the receiver of the action of a verb. So I would like to correct that one, direct object, not indirect object. So may I repeat? A direct object is a word or phrase denoting the receiver of the action of a verb. And an indirect object is the recipient of the direct object. And we will also encounter the word objective complement or object complement for other books. So an objective complement, it can be a noun or a pronoun or an adjective that follows a direct object to rename it or state what it has become. So those are the keywords. Please remember them. So let's have a recap of the keywords that we will be using in this lesson. Subject, verb, adverb, adjective, direct object, indirect object, and objective complement. So I hope I made myself clear for that one. So now you're ready for the different sentence patterns. So we have patterns with intransitive verbs, and then patterns with linking verbs, and patterns with active transitive verbs. Let's tackle them one by one. Okay? So patterns with intransitive verbs. So we have here S plus V. So S stands for subject, and then V for verb. And then S plus V plus adverb. So let's try to look at the examples for you to understand the patterns. So we have here, so I use color coding for you to easily remember and easily understand. So S plus V, we have the woman left. So this is already a sentence. The subject is the woman and the verb is left. So this is S plus V pattern. And then the girl coughed. This is another example. I think this is very easy. Next, we have S plus V plus adverb. So we have the bride walked down the aisle. So the subject there, S, is the bride, and then the verb is walked, and then the adverb is down the aisle, adverb of place. And then we have second example. Let's try to examine it. John hurried away from the gate. So we have John as the subject and hurried as the verb, and away from the gate is the adverb. So these are the two patterns under intransitive verbs. Next, we have patterns with linking verbs. What are the different patterns under linking verbs? So why did I separate them into three? For the students to easily understand, because if we will try to mix them up, then they will have a difficulty really of understanding the concept. So I think this is a better way of presenting the sentence patterns. So patterns with linking verbs. Let's examine the examples and let's try to take a look at the different patterns under linking verbs. S for the subject, V stands for the verb, PN for predicate noun or adjective. So we have here the example. Let's examine the first one. The baby is adorable. So we have there the baby as the subject, and then the verb is, and the adjective is adorable. So it's very easy, it's very simple. So the baby is adorable, the baby is cute, can also be. Next, Teacher Jane seems unhappy. So Teacher Jane is the subject and seems is the verb and unhappy is the adjective. So did you get it? That's very easy. Next, we have the next pattern. S plus V plus adverb. So we have here the subject, and then the verb, and then the adverb. So we have examples here. I have two examples. The groceries are in the kitchen. So the groceries is the subject, and then are is the verb, and in the kitchen is the adverb. Next example, the book is on the table. So the book is the subject in the sentence, and is the verb, which is a linking verb, and then on the kitchen is the adverb. So those are the two patterns under linking verbs, using linking verbs. So may I just have a recap? S plus V plus PN or adjective, and S plus V plus adverb. So these are the two patterns under this one. Next, let's have patterns with active transitive verbs. How about with transitive verbs? Let's look at the patterns. We have the first pattern, S plus V plus DO. DO stands for direct object. Let's take a look at the example for us to understand. We have the baby likes apples. So the baby is the subject, and then likes is the verb, and the direct object or the receiver of the action is apples. I have already defined direct object a while ago. Next, we have dogs chase cats. So dogs is the subject, chase is the verb, and cats is the direct object. So the reason why I already explained the keywords so that I will not be explaining them time and again every time you encountered them. Okay? So let's move on with the next pattern. S plus V plus DO plus adverb. So we have here the examples, two examples again. Janea put the key in the door. So subject is Janea, put is the verb, of course past tense, that's why it's without S, and then the key is the direct object, and then in the door is the adverb. This is the adverb, in the door, adverb of place. Next, James treated the teacher politely. So James is the subject, and treated is the verb, and then the teacher is the direct object, and politely is the adverb. Treated who? The teacher. It's the direct object. Put what? The key. So the key is the direct object. So the best way to locate for the direct object is to ask a question from the verb itself. Do not make a complete sentence anymore in asking the question. So for example, put what? The key. Treated who? The teacher. Okay, direct object. Next, let's have S+V+DO+OC, or the objective complement or object complement. So we have here two examples again. Let's examine the two examples for better understanding on how to construct sentences using the patterns. The pattern, I should say, S+V+DO+OC. So we have the girl made her father happy. So we have the girl is the subject, made is the verb, made who? Her father is the direct object. What? Happy, objective complement. And then we have the second example, the students made the classroom clean. The students is the subject, made is the verb, made what? The classroom. Direct object is the classroom, and objective complement is clean. Okay, remember, an objective complement can be a noun, a pronoun, it can also be an adjective. Next pattern, we have S+V+IO+DO. So let's now combine IO and DO. So we have here two examples again. Father gave Divine 500 pesos. So we have subject is father, gave is the verb, and then the indirect object is Divine, and direct object is 500 pesos. So how are you going to locate it? Father gave what? 500 pesos. To whom? To Divine. It's the indirect object. Next, we have Pearl sent Sophia a cake. Okay? So, Pearl is the subject and sent is the verb. Then, sent what? A cake. Sent a cake to whom? To Sophia. So, Sophia is the indirect object. Next, we have, I think this is the last pattern, S+V+DO+IO. So you can also construct your sentence using transitive verbs in this manner. So we have father, so I use the same example just for you to be able to distinguish how it's being constructed. So it's easier for students to understand. So we have here, father gave 500 pesos to Divine. So look at the pattern now. Father is the subject, gave is the verb, so the direct object came first. That's why it's DO plus 2 plus IO. To Divine, okay, is the indirect object. Okay. Next, we have Pearl sent a cake to Sophia. So we have here Pearl is the subject, sent is the verb, and then a cake is the direct object, and to Sophia is the indirect object. I would also like to take this opportunity to ask you if you have any questions, comments, and suggestions. Please PM me or comment down below so that I can prepare for the Q&A vlog. So I need your support. So I hope you can send questions for me to answer, and then comments or suggestions. Thank you so much again for always supporting my channel. So I hope I was able to grant the request, and I hope that this basic sentence patterns lesson or video will be very useful to a lot of people. Okay? So I hope you can use this video in your basic sentence patterns lesson. So it's very short, but it's very comprehensible. It's very easy to understand. So I use again color coding for you to easily understand the lesson and for you to easily remember the lesson. So again, this is Dr. Debbie Javier telling you to always be a blessing to others. Stay safe everyone, and enjoy the lesson on basic sentence patterns. Bye!